This is Stu from Stuart Scale Models, and basically I hadn't planned on doing an inbox review today, but I had a conversation online earlier with my modelling buddy over the pond, Darren Shank, and he was on about getting, he was talking to me about that he wanted to get hold of a Tiger and build one, and he had his eye on this particular one with a full interior. It is a lovely kit, Darren, I grant you that, but to be honest, if this is going to be your first Tiger, my god, you're going to have your work cut out for you, buddy. I'll tell you that much now. But by all means, if you feel you can go ahead with building this kit, but go for it, buddy. What you got to lose? It is a super kit. I mean, I've had mine just over a year now since I bought it. In fact, when it was first released, I think about a year ago, I snapped one up straight away, having previously bought their first ever release, which was the initial back version. This is an early version as opposed to the initial, and is primarily based on a vehicle in the 503rd Battalion out on the Eastern Front in Russia in 1943. Ryefield are very much getting into the idea of doing armoured vehicles with full interiors, because they have just announced that they're going to be bringing out an Abrams 1A1 from the 1991 Gulf War with full interior as well, so that should be interesting to see. But however, as a request was put in order, I thought I'd grant it, so here we go. As you can see from the indicated box art, the Tiger depicted on the illustration is of a typical scene on the Eastern Front, progressing through the fields, possibly at Kursk, I don't know. And in the background you can see the artillery support and the regard to a Nasson. Now, I must admit, it'd be interesting if Ryefield brought out a Nasson. So there's a suggestion for you guys. Okay, if you guys from Ryefield are watching, do us an Nasson soon. Anyway, as you can see, it's a beautiful illustration on the box of the actual Tiger itself. You do have the option of doing 3 other vehicles, although you've only actually got one colour guide for the one. So probably what I would suggest, guys, is when you look through this kit and you see the other pennant numbers, do your research, okay? Because you've got 3 or 4 different mountlets and you've got 2 sets of running gear on this, so obviously there were different wheels to each different version, so there you go. This is quite a thick box, as you can see by the depth of it. I mean, it's deep, very deep, as you can see. On the side here you've got the CAD drawings of the internal workings of the actual Tiger, and then obviously some of the features are actually in the kit, as you can see here, with the sprocket wheels and running wheels. Excuse me. Tickety cough. Ammunition rack with the actual shells there, and then obviously you got the system to assemble all the link-to-link tracks. Some detail on the actual cover for the tanks, the fuel tanks, and then you've got the exhaust shroud, and obviously you've got the actual storage set for the jerry cans inside the turret. The Maybach engine, which is beautifully reproduced, and that's the full engine, as you can see there, with the drive shafts. Breech inside the turret, and then you got the machine gun rack there, full interior, and then obviously the I think it looks like the jack, possibly, we'll see. On the side of the box you've got a box art illustration. If anybody's interested in this kit, the kit number is RM5003. okay, there you go. And on the other side you've got a box art illustration of the colour call out for the one indicated on the box, which is Tiger 321. Okay, right, unlike before, I'm going to leave the instruction sheet till last, so we'll have a guide through the sprues. It's going to be easier that way. As you can see, it is absolutely stacked with sprues, so there's plenty to do. And the first one is actually a spare one. It's actually, as you can see from the exhaust shrouds here, it's for an initial version. So why they've put that in there, I don't know. It's a little bit sort of Dragon-esque, as it were. But there you are. I mean, they're happy to be done as spares for another vehicle in case you want to build one. Okay. And then the next sprue is for this version with the correct exhaust shrouds, as you can see here. And you've got your air filter, your engine covers, as you can see here. Side skirts. Now, there's one thing I wish they would do, is actually do these separately, because that way you can position them correctly and you wouldn't have to fiddle about with having to saw them off and then basically bend them, etc. Alternately, you can get some extra brass aftermarket sets. Then you've got the firefalls right here, which are beautifully reproduced. Mantlet here, rear mud guards, which are beautiful and crisp. Side armour plates, which you can see here for the lower hull. Front, I think front places plate. I think that's the name. And then you've got the tow bar here. And two beautifully reproduced sprockets wheels, which you can see here and part of the final drive. Okay. And then you've got the internal workings of the actual turret itself. This is the lower part of the turret, the lower deck. Actually, if I get it around the right way, you'll see, because look at the beautiful detail on the grills here, the floor. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? If I can get that into shot, there you go. And then obviously various components, the internal workings, etc. And they've even faithfully reproduced the steering column. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So there you go. And obviously you've got part of the turret ring, which is highly detailed, as you can see there. And then part of the assembly up here of the actual gun breech itself, which is beautifully reproduced, as you can see there. And then obviously you've got the ammunition shell bag right there, and that's beautifully done as well, because you can see the wrinkles of material. So that's beautifully reproduced, guys. And as I say, you've got an emphasis for weathering and chipping on this. This is going to make it look exceptional. So there you go. Next up, I got stuck on this last time. You've got the torsion bars, which you can see here, and obviously again you've got the idler wheel. Pop that down the other side. You've got the idler wheel, which you can see here, and then another sprocket, and then you've got the final drive there, and various racks, etc. And obviously you've got a vision port, which you can see here, tow bars, tools, etc. And I love the detail of the actual welding on the bottom of the actual exhaust shroud, which they faithfully reproduced here. That is exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. And then next up, you've got some of the tools and the workings of the actual turret bin as well, which you can see here. Again, lovely, crisp and clear, beautiful, exceptional detail. And I've even got the antennae on here, which is nicely done. And obviously got the jerry cans up here, which are beautifully reproduced. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to building this, I have to say. And even on the jack, the detail is exceptional. It really is. And then I've got a different set of actual running gear and final drive, etc. Now, whether this goes with the initial version or not, I have no idea. But I will look into that when I actually get around to building this kit. But again, you've got the bottom of the exhaust shrouds. It's not as highly detailed. In fact, if I get this one out of the packet, you'll see. As I say, this isn't as highly detailed as the last set. I mean, these may be just spares for another version of possibly. In fact, this is for a mid production, because you've actually got the rest for the actual gun barrel. So maybe in time they're actually going to bring out a mid production. So that'll be interesting to see. So yeah, that'll be handy. There you go. I just noticed that. Very similar to Dragon, when they put loads of parts in there you're never going to use. There we go. And then you're coming on to the actual turret. Again, there's some nice level of detail, including this bit here for the end of the barrel. Nice detail for the turret ring with the teeth, beautifully moulded and caught. And then for some reason you've got 3 sets of mantlets, so whether that's to do with various versions of the early production, I have no idea, but we will see. But again, they've got a nice sense of the actual well detail on it as well. I don't know if you can see that in the light, guys, but there you are. And with the turret itself, this is the one disappointment with this kit, is that it's not one whole turret. You've got it in half, so you're going to have a devil of a own's job to get rid of that seam line without removing the detail. But inside, as you can see on the actual walls of the turret, it's beautifully marked out. Absolutely exquisite. Okay, and even on the hatches as well, you've got the internal workings of the actual hatch levers as well, so that is beautifully caught. Okay, there we are. And then you've got various, this next section is, I would assume, the engine and the filter system. It is exquisite. Again, as you can see, the detail on it is absolutely beautifully reproduced, particularly with the engine mount right here. Look at that, gorgeous. And this is the back wall as well, the back wall for the engine bay, beautifully done. And even on the actual outer covers of the fuel tanks, let me get that to focus. If you can see that, guys, look at the detail on that and the grating. Beautiful, really well caught. So, you know, you could do a scene here where they're maintaining the engine or the engine's being changed. So, you know, you've got a wealth of opportunities here for a diorama, guys. You really have. Now, also, you've got your own track assembly system, which is link to link with the pins. That is going to be as fiddly as hell, and it is going to bloody hurt my eyes, I tell you. So I am debating on whether to try this out with this track system of theirs, or get some aftermarket metal tracks. Now, I could go for frills, but you're talking around about 30 odd pounds, so they are good, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from frills, but there is another manufacturer called Spade Ace, which are based in China, at half the price, and they do every tracked vehicle under the sun you could wish to know. So I might well source some of their tracks, but we will see. And then you're coming on to the lower hull, which is beautifully made. Lovely internal detail inside the hull for where the torsion bars go, even on the escape hatches, which you can see there. I don't know if you've got that, if I'll get that into shot. That's beautifully reproduced, and obviously you've got the firewalls, etc. to go in as well. So yeah, that is going to look gorgeous. And even the weld seams down the side here, beautifully caught, really well done. So yeah, I'm very happy with that, I tell you. Next sprue is the actual engine itself. As you can see here, it's high, well, or the drive shaft of the engine is absolutely beautifully done, including the firewalls. I mean, look at the detail on the internal workings of the firewalls here. It's beautifully done. So you've got an emphasis to get some really nice weathering and chipping done there. And even the main drive shaft, which you can see here, is beautifully done. Exquisite, it really is, guys. So, you know, get your eyes on that. If you want this, get it, I would say. And even here on the grating, that is faithfully reproduced as well. Exquisite. And this is your internal shell casings with the shells in them. You've got high piercing shell, armour piercing shells, as well as the normal. Mind you, that's going to be a bugger to paint all them. I'll tell you, that'll keep you busy for a few hours with the old paintbrush. And even the racks are beautifully done on this. So yeah, hats off to Ryefield for that. And then you've got some more running gear. whether this is for the proposed vehicle, I have no idea. But again, it's beautifully caught, beautifully made, and beautifully welded. Not 1 ounce of flash, if you noticed, on all of these sprues. Very, very crisp indeed. And the final plastic sprue is obviously the actual deck of the Tiger. Oh, sorry, I knocked the camera then. Again, lovely crisp detail, and even on the engine covers here, you've got some lovely weld detail. Beautifully done. Exquisite. There we are, and there's the rear plates, the outer part of the rear plates, the front plate with the machine gun hatch and the driver's hatch. You've got your barrel rods there, all your tools, your fifals, and even the detail on the fifal pipes is gorgeous, really well done. And then obviously you've got the ends of your tow bars, which do come with brass wire, which is a lovely feature. I wish more manufacturers would actually do it. And then obviously you've got your ammunition racks here, and your tool racks. Again, the level of detail on them is exquisite. It really is. So well done, Ryefield. And then obviously you've got your observation hatches, opticals right here, all as crisp and clear as anything, and even on for the commander's cupola as well. That is beautifully done, really well done. And then finally, running through all the components, you've got your etch brass set for the engine grills and basically the tool clamps, etc. So yeah, beautifully caught there. So yeah, I should be looking forward to doing that. And then obviously you've got your cable for your tow ropes, which is nicely done. And then your decal sheet, which actually features 4 different vehicles. So if you're not planning on doing the one that's illustrated on the box, I would suggest you do your research, guys. Okay. And then finally, box out of the way, we come to the instruction sheet. Again, it's beautifully printed pamphlet, lovely paper, I have to say. Again, the box art illustration on the front there of the actual vehicle. Obviously the various assembly signs, which you can see, icons which you can see there, a little bit of a warning about assembling the kit. And first page, you open up, you've got all your sprue trees, and you've got, I would estimate, including the lower hole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, including the decals, 17 components to the kit, so that'll keep you busy. Definitely. And then this is a nice touch, I have to say. You've got the plan of the internal workings of the lower hull, and a sort of a colour guide, as it were, and even on the internal workings of the turret as well. Very nicely done. Okay, and then you've got your colour guide for the one colour call out that you see there. But as I say, if you want to do any of the other variants, I would suggest you do your research, guys. Unusually, for an armoured vehicle, the first process of the assembly is the actual man and the actual gun itself. So that's interesting. And there's the various components, as you can see there, all the internal workings of the breech itself, which are going in through here. Highly detailed, as you can see here. Beautifully done. And again, even with the turret ring and the commander seat, etc., that's nicely done, as you can see there. So that will keep you quietly busy. The lower part of the turret assembly, and that's what it should look like when it's done. Then obviously add that to the lower part where you've got all your jerry can racks, and then part of the I think the turret system, the push rods, that goes onto the top of that. And then obviously you add the turret ring into it, and then put the two halves of the turret itself together with all the internal workings there. And so you can see on the other side of the wall as well. Okay, and then you just put the two turret halves together along with the gun and the gun breech. Again, it's got a colour call out or CADs as to showing where the assemblies are. And then you do the assembly of all the components for the roof of the turret, as you can see here. And also then the hatches and the air filters go on, and then you put that on top of the turret, and that's job done. Okay, And then next thing you do is put all the optics inside the commander's cupola. Add your smoke dispensers. Now the only thing I would say with the smoke dispensers on this kit is that they are rather thick. So what I'll be doing is what Mike's done on his previous builds on these, is I've got a load of Dragon spares, so I'll be using these smoke dispensers or smoke projectors off of them, because they'll be the correct in scale width. Then the turret bingo is assembled. Once you've done that, add the turret bin and the cupola onto there, then the loader's hatch, but again you can keep it open if you wish. Okay, and then you're moving on to the lower hull. Add your basic side plates on, and then your final drive or your idler drive at the back there. You've got your firewalls in there and your side plates for the internal part of the lower hull where the torsion bars go, and that's how it should look at the end of that assembly process. Okay, then add your your final drive system along with your tow bars and the frontal armour and the rear parts at the back there together onto the hull along with your suspension arms. Okay, then more internal fittings which go along with the torsion bars inside. Okay, well, I have jumped here because I don't tell you where the placement of the torsion bars is, but I mean if you've built a few Tigers under your belt you'll know. Okay, more internal fittings which go along with the final drive at the back there, and yet more then the assembly of the actual drive shaft and push rods etc of the front part of the engine. Put all the engine into the engine bay, and that's how it should sit. Okay, next process is then put more firewalls in, which actually divides where the engine is, etc. Then the driver's compartment, etc. as you can see here on the main components, the internal workings, highly detailed again, and showing where to put the ammunition packs for the armour, as it were. This is the frontal firewall, as you can see here, for the engine, which goes into the main component of the actual tank itself. And then you've got the plates, floor plates, which go in along with the ammunition racks, etc. and your armour. Drive shaft goes in as well to the engine bay, and that's how it should be at that side of the build. And then obviously add more internal workings to the engine bay, as you can see here. Or is it the frontal part? No, it's the engine bay. Your fans go in along with your fuel tanks, they go in as well, as you can see with the process assembled there. And then the main part of the engine itself, the Maybach, is assembled and put into the engine bay. Okay, along with your tanks, as it were, fuel tanks. And then it's the assembly of the sprocket wheel, and the final drive goes on there along with your running gear, but I'm going to leave that until the very last, as you know. Ammunition packs go onto the rear plate. Okay, then the assembly of the jack, and then obviously you've got the assembly of the wheels, etc. Some actually come with a rubber separately, believe it or not. That's quite interesting. And then your jack goes on the back, and then it's just the final process of assembling the frontal part of the actual armour, okay, which goes on the front of the tank, which you can see there. And then it's showing you the pinpoints where to put all the tools and your 5-foot engine deck down, etc. All your tools go on, engine covers, 5-foot filter system, and then obviously you've got the internal workings of the actual driver's hat or armourer's hatch. You've got the option of keeping them open or closed. Then you basically put the tow ropes and all your etched brass engine grills on. And then it's showing you, I don't know what it's showing you this, I suppose it's showing it all lined up in the engine aspect. You can have that open if you want. And then the tow bars go on, frontal places plate goes on. And then that's it, basically. You then have got the assembly of the tracks here. Then the turret goes on and the tracks go on, and obviously the side plate as well. And then obviously your spare tracks go on the front as well. And then that's it, job done. The kit is done. So there you go. Quite a lot to get into. As I say, this is going to make an immense build. So if you've got a few Tigers under your belt, then I would build this. But if this is going to be your first Tiger, Whoa, you're going to have your work cut out for you guys, I have to say. Let's put everything back in there. It is, in terms of a kit, superb. I think since Ryefield have done this, everybody else is starting to catch on. I know Takamar, with their latest releases of their King Tigers, incidentally, which I've ordered. So yeah, this is really becoming a big thing with internal detail now. Not only that, you've got an emphasis of showing everything off, of actually how the tank's workings were, how everything was so well engineered. Like on these vehicles, it was over engineered, hence why there was only about 1,600 or so built, whereas with the Shermans there were thousands built, you know. But, I mean, if the war had turned the other way, who knows? I know they were thinking of building an improved version of the King Tiger, etc., which you can actually get kits of as well. But yeah, it is a superb looking kit. So Darren, there's a taste of what it is, buddy. As I say, if this is going to be your first Tiger, you're going to have your work cut out for you, bud. But it is a superb kit all the same. So there we go. That is Ryefield's Tiger 1, kit number 5003, with full interior, early production of the 503rd Battalion, Eastern Front, 1943. Hope you enjoyed the inbox review. I know I certainly did, and it's my first chance of really looking at this kit. As and when I get to build it, it's certainly going to keep me busy. And you've got the advantage of possibly doing it in sort of a scene where it's being maintained, or you could just do it with just be able to show off the internal interior by just taking the parts off. Or do as Andy at Andy Hobbies headquarters did, just do it on 3 different mounts, and then you can show all the details it was with the King Tigers. So that's possibly a way I might do it. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. This has been going on for the best part of nearly, well, I'd say 33 minutes. So there you go. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the inbox review, and I'll see you on the next video. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.